Poetry really gave me life. With poetry, I can just be me. If you take away everything that happened from poetry to now, if you take that away, I don't know where I'd be right now. Everything I did in the past was pretty much a lie. So the change just started from writing, you know, from just writing all my problems down. It just took off from there. Like, I haven't looked back. All right, so whenever I'm ready.
Whenever you're ready.
So apparently all my old friends think I've changed. They say I'm too positive now, my demeanor isn't the same. Apparently I'm fake because I surrounded myself with people that genuinely care about me and got my head on straight. They're telling me I'm different. Because I refuse to listen to the same foolishness that enslaved the way that I think. I told them I no longer want to be famous, I want to be great.
Zoharian / Zoharian Williams is on paper, a young African-American male who's every city's young African-American male, juggling between what he really wants to do in life while not having probably much of a clue of how to make that happen. And if he does have a clue, he doesn't necessarily have the access at his disposal.
The first time I met Zoe was at what we have is called a Poetry and Leadership Conference. Zoe had this personality that stood out. And I knew from that point there that there was something special about him. I didn't know exactly what that was and to what degree it was, but I knew from that moment that I gotta be seeing more with that kid.
So you can hate, but I have to liberate myself from people like you. It's real hard to try to pull somebody up, but it's real easy to let them down. I can almost hear the sound of betrayal lingering behind my back. In fact, Mama always told me no matter what you do, somebody is gonna hate you for it. Jesus had haters.
First time I heard Changes was at a fundraising event. Kind of toward the tail end of it, it was dying down, and Zoe just did a raw version of it. But I was in shock. I still, at the end of it, had to ask him, like, that's a true story?
For him, what poetry does, it gives him this outlet. So he doesn't have to focus on the fact that who knows if we'll be able to pay rent this month. He can write about it.
All I ever wanted was people to actually hear me and listen to me.
I believe it's his bedrock. It's his foundation. I believe it keeps him going, and I believe it keeps him grounded also.
It's giving him a brother to grow up with. You know, it's like he got, I'm proud of him, so I get a little, you know.
So that just taught me never expect everybody to love you. I mean, they're hating on me now, but imagine what they'll say next when I actually reach my apex out, break necks and hopefully get some paychecks. But don't tell me I changed because I decided to better myself, especially when they're doing the same old things in middle school that got us in trouble.
Despite his infectious smile and energetic spirit, the places he comes from, they aren't such happy places, right? He has had a lot of struggle in his life, and he's had a lot of pain, a lot of heartache. That has begun to show itself through his poetry. We both kind of grew up in a single-parent household, just our mother, and you know, there was struggles.
So she had to be, you know, my mom and my father. You know, she had to be both, like hundreds and thousands, millions of single, you know, parents out there. It's always that what if, you know, what if he was here, you know, had my life taken a completely different path, you know, what if he was here? You know, if I had him in my life to get me right, would that change his poem even be here? Nothing I ever did with them was productive. Seeing cops and ducking, I was stuck in a life that I didn't want to live. Picture this, me. Only in 8th grade, trying to fit in with my peers, trying to strike fear in other people's heart by playing an infamous part of a young thug. Selling drugs, running around, jumping old people, young people, stealing bikes, whatever, breaking in houses, whatever we had to do, to get a little money and shine, I guess. I even saw a lady get shot down at the age of, 7? A car drove up, shot her, shot the boyfriend, and shot the mom in the house, and she died from a stray bullet. So, her laying there in a pool of blood saying, help me. As a kid, that's something kids shouldn't be seeing, So, yeah, so I got exposed to that early, so after a while, it just started to become numb to me. Hiding drugs inside of a bag of Doritos, because we know security ain't had authority to check the ones we had on our back. No one didn't guide me in the right direction, so I was causing all sort of problems. I was buying Zephyr Hills every day just to pour it out and put clear vodka in a water bottle. It was crazy. I was trying to act just as hard as this liquor in my hand, and with each sip I took, I felt more like a man. Drugs all around. Alcoholics at the corner store, whatever it was. And my mom was actually on drugs growing up. I didn't know. Only in 8th grade, trying to run the streets with the go-getters. Had my head on a swivel because I didn't know if the police was gonna get us, because we was looking for random people to jump like newlyweds over a broom. But we didn't get down on one knee and put rings on wives. We punched in teeth and left rings on eyes. It's crazy. Everybody we had jumped and every person we had robbed, every person we had beat unconscious, I did it for no reason. I did it to fit in with them, and then I realized that I wasn't even close to them. Because we used to steal and rob from so many innocent people unaware that we was robbing from ourselves. I was robbing myself from greatness, robbing myself from an education, robbing myself from the simple fact that I just don't have to be black and sit back and adapt to my unfortunate surroundings. I found things to express myself with, but sadly, they didn't. I could easily, start selling drugs again, start getting back. That's easy now, but it takes, like a real man, to try and do something positive and go and get it the right way. Taking the harder route and starting from the bottom, he's the OG. I want to see everybody make it. So it kind of hurts that people are put in a similar predicament to where I was, and they're continuing it. I'm still tripping off the day the cops stopped the 4 of us and lined us down on the ground. It wasn't a sound. My heart continued to pound like I had on weight, but wait. It's ironic how I had no problem trying to steal me till the steel was wrapped around my wrist. Why was I okay with my future being at risk now? There was a guy on a bicycle, all right, and then he was walking across the street, and then one of my friends, he said, yo, give me that bike. It was 4 of us, and then another friend, he came, and then he hit him. Boom, knocked the dude off the bike. And then everybody started jumping in, I started jumping, kicking or whatever. Next thing you know, the sirens came. Down on the ground, I felt so isolated, like I was the only criminal at the crime scene, trapped at the crime scene, trying to wiggle myself out of a sticky situation, but trouble had me trapped. And this time I wouldn't escape it. Well, at least I thought. I don't know how they got there so fast, but they were right there sitting in front of the pad waiting on us. Get it on the ground. Everybody was cuffed on the ground, looking up. Wow, I'm really about to be arrested. I still remember his name. Officer Santiago gave us a 10-minute long speech, and then he asked me to speak, and when I did, he stopped with his eyes pierced through me. His face lit up like sunlight beaming through a window, awakening a child that had been asleep. He said, son, you don't belong here. All of them had dirty records, all of them. Me, clean record. And he was like, yo, you do not belong here at all. Like I can just see, the difference from them and you don't belong here. Then he let me go. He let me go and didn't even let me know why. I cried the whole walk home. Tears ran down my cheek like I ran from the police, but that was 3 years ago. That was the alarm clock. That was my wake-up call right there.
For him to experience that at that age, and then for him to be let go, I think it was almost like a moment of like, somebody's looking out for me.
No words can really sum up what he did for me. That moment, I could easily be going, thank you. Now each and every one of them is doing 30+ years. I could not make this story up. Poetry saved my life. I have a voice. I'm destined to alter lives. I really don't have a choice, so maybe they're right. I have changed. I am different. None of those guys are supporting me now, saying, oh, congrats, like Zoe made it out. None of that. They're telling me I changed, I'm a chump now, I'm gonna switch out.
No matter how much you improve and how much you change, there's still a bit of your environment that kind of calls back to you. And, there's a code within the streets about, snitching or switching out and all that kind of stuff. And so he has to deal with that the reality that people might perceive him a certain way.
I think that the biggest challenge that a young man or young lady would have right now in school is to have the social courage to be able to to identify the difficulties and address them and make that challenge go away. And that's something that, since we're talking about Zoe, that's something that Zoe has at some point decided to do and did it publicly.
It was definitely a huge transition. You know, I definitely had to get my head on right, start making better decisions. I had to cut old friends off.
His maturity level has gone up, his confidence has gone up, running with a different crowd, different friends, more responsibility in his life. I think he's taken more responsibility for who he is and more belief in what he's capable of being and what he's capable of doing.
There's so many negative factors in this world for young people these days. So to use this poetry as a positive piece and to expand on it and to, you know, give it to others, transfer it to others, that's the key.
Zoe is definitely destined to change lives. Zoe has already changed lives. We just don't know it yet.
You know, every day I go eat breakfast and then I go outside on the patio where they have the umbrellas, and I just look at everybody walk by and think, wow, you know, I could have easily been in, you know, a Broward County cell right now, thinking about, okay, when I get out, you know, what can I change? But I actually got a second chance to do it. You know, that's great. So I think about that transition every day, man, and I'm just so grateful. But at least I'm not in prison, wishing for my freedom. As harsh as it sounds, man, I wouldn't want to beat them, anticipating 3 meals a day, waiting for somebody else to feed them, locked away from children, mothers that really need them. So I won't be on Twitter yelling #free them, and I won't be on anybody's visitation list trying to see them. So they can call me every insult in the book, but I bet they can't call me inmate 14689 or much more than just a number.
You know, he understands where he is now. He feels that. He embraces that. He loves it.
He's this star that just didn't know or realize that he was, and now I think he's becoming a little bit more aware of how special he is.
He's just begun to relish in the idea that I have a future, I have a purpose. There's more to life than those things that I thought.
He knows what it's like in the past not to have that choice. And I know that he values the fact that he's now able to make the choice.
That's the part that people should really pay attention to, not what he was doing and want to lambaste him for that, but want to applaud for the fact that he made this transition, this change.
He enjoys the power to go into a room and capture a room, you know, capture the imagination of people when they listen to him speak. And he understands how powerful that tool is.
But he has to push forward because there is more for him to do. There is more.
So while he's fighting his lawyer fees, I'll be writing my poetry. So instead of getting mad and fight about it, I sit back and write about it. So sad, regardless of all the things you said, I forgive you. I got a second chance, and I'm trying to make the most of it. I'm just trying to make it a great opportunity for me, you know, so I can move out of where I'm at now and go get a better house, you know, for me and my mom and my family could live.
For him to be able to still walk around and with his head up high is a testament to his character as a young man.
It's amazing what a little bit of confidence will do for somebody. A little bit of care, a little bit of love, a little bit of attention will make that flower grow. It's pretty amazing.
He breaks every stereotype. The second he grabs that mic or the second he smiles, you know he's a different, special young man.
And I tell him, you know, you're an agent of change. That's what he is.
He will get all of the things that he wants in life if he just stays his course.
I'm nowhere near where I want to be, you know, so I keep that in mind. You know, like I still live in the same neighborhood, you know, so I can't get too big-headed now, you know, because I'm still there. But I just want everybody to hear my positive message, and you know, because it always affects somebody, you know, whether I know it or not.
And I think that's a powerful statement. I think it's a statement that people in general need to understand, that you don't have to be a victim of your circumstance. You make your life, you make your destiny.
I feel like I can pretty much do anything if I put my mind to it, and I have this, so I'm going to do it.
I truly see him doing that, altering lives and speaking around the country or the world, using his voice as a vehicle to bring about change. I truly see it, and I'm going to be mad if it doesn't happen.
No matter how many times you told me I was going to end up just like you, I just wish he can see me now. I just wish he can see me smile when how I turned my whole life around. While he just wanted to pivot, I'm actually living while he is just alive. My future has no limitations in the sky. I'm living proof that poetry changes lives.
I'm proud. That makes me proud because I can say that poetry saved my life as well. And for him to hear that echoed through this young man, it's powerful. Finding that passion and using that passion to help find your path is priceless. This kid that has nothing is able to sit and converse with football stars and Hollywood stars and be heard and stand on stages and have people stand up and applaud them. That's the American dream.
This is me. So like I'm telling a story. It's not just another poem, it's a story. So listen. Zoharian Williams, coming out of South Florida, representing Piper High School. I'm here in Chicago, live in effect.
Ready for a poetry slam?
My name's Zoe, I'm from South Florida. So apparently all my old friends think I've changed. They can call me every insult in the book, but I bet they can't call me inmate 14689 or much more than just a number. My future has no limitations in the sky. I'm living proof that poetry changes lives.
Something just happened in here. I have a low score of a 9.8. And 410.
After grudge match, I did changes. The whole room just exploded. They flipped over twice, and they were just like, yo, I have the same story, like I can relate to that 100%. But for me, it was like a personal trip. I went to Chicago to pretty much clear my mind, find some inspiration, and I did, man, a lot of abundance of inspiration. Louder Than the Bomb is a series of events for teams and individuals to actually, like I said, hear poetry, share poetry, and actually get a chance to compete, battling it out, to see who's the top poet in the state of Florida. Like, it's really not about winning. I don't want to come in here. It's time to win. It's time to share. Let's give back a little bit. Whether it come from us, a different school, a different individual, I don't know, but something magical is gonna happen. I come from a place where dreams are illegal. We have $1 million dreams of $1 million things, but no one wants to leave a legacy. You get killed for thinking outside of the box, but I'd rather rot than not to dream. I got to dream to stop the screams that occur inside of my head, because my dreams are illegal, and for this reason I'll forever be an outlaw. But without law, where would we be? Close your eyes, let your imagination fly, and dream. There you have it. Louder Than the Bomb, Indy Finals is finally here. It's about to happen in less than 20 minutes. Right out here on that stage, 12 amazing poets. I've been waking up, poetry on my mind, going to sleep, poetry on my mind, spitting at random people at bus stops, everywhere, man.
Louder Than the Bomb, Florida, make some noise.
first annual individual finals for this thing, and so you guys are part of history. Make some noise for Miss Amarette Lorville.
You think cops battle rap was the way they dropping bodies and catching arms? For you are disconnected.
My resurrection in the second when you click videos suggested on YouTube. But my mouth is dry, my brain is dying.
Putting our relationship on the line just mean I didn't care about us, but in all honesty, I was just trying not to bust in this blackjack style love.
Who's so vested in their dreams but not really vested in their dreams because no one's really investing in their dreams.
Oh no! Not another black poem.
I heard you used to ride a bit. Write love poems about a poet. You was a poet, you used to ride a bit about your lover.
Settle in, because there's a million more poets writing right now because it seems like racism will never end. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
We have a 10, a 10, and a 10. In third place, 4, Louder Than the Bomb, Florida, to Miss Savannah Ashton. In second place, Miss Amarette Lorville. And our winner for the inaugural Louder Than the Bomb Florida 2015 here at the Mariachi Theater in Davie, Florida on April 16, 2015. Mr. Zoharian Williams.
If I could talk to my younger self, I guess, me now, I would tell him, don't be afraid to be great. The only thing that we should be watching on CBS is why do we have to watch in CBS from you on a daily and still not have the power to already mentally bothered in elementary school. They labeled me as a product of my environment before I even got the chance to figure out. No more giving in and keeping this issue muted. Let's take our passion and refuel it like, can I have faith, hard work, and consistency on pump 9, please? Day in and day out, getting into trouble is easy. The hard part is trying to find the exit on the way out. What is my purpose? Still uncertain about what I was supposed to do, so I started battling and rapping. Just lies with the idea of staying alive, but the truth is everybody cannot be a survivor. There is no, how do I show? No more hurting. It made every touchdown I cherished back then seem worthless. And for any poet that's scared to touch this stage for any reason, trust me, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it.